Hello, 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 hello,
Hello, hello. Very good morning, everyone. Good. ಈಗಲೂ ಹಿಂದೆ ಕೂರೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂದೆ ಕಾಲೇ ಇದ್ರು. Anyway, so welcome to the core batch of Insights IAS. So in this orientation, me, myself, and our faculties will all together in depth. We will give you an idea about what we are going to do as part of the core batch, in the core batch, to ensure that your preparation is holistic and also goes deeper and deeper, in the sense that the way you write your answers, the way you write your essay, kind of reaches, the pinnacle of your performance, the thing you haven't yet experienced so far, the kind of experience you haven't gone through so far. Eventually, in the course of 3 to 4 months, you will actually experience that the way you are writing your answers and essays will be totally different from your perspective, but it is going to be to the expectation of UPSC, where they are expecting, when they are evaluating mains copies, where they are expecting the best performance in that year. Those copies, those essays, those answers, which will eventually set the benchmark for that year's evaluation. Right? So that is the objective of the core batch, to train you in such a way that when you write your mains examination in 2025, your copies should become the benchmark. So when they want to evaluate the rest of the essays, so your essay should be seen as the benchmark that year. So when we say benchmark, so it has broken, or it has come out of all the patterns, all the predictable elements that were there in the previous year, right? So the 24 benchmark is not the similar benchmark for the 2025 mains examination. At the core of the UPSC examination, the entire examination, the way it is designed, it is intended to select the best minds to run the country, not in a political sense, to, let's say, to build the country, right? So because we are aware of this fact that the UPSC examination is not a mechanical examination where you learn lots of information, know lots of stuff, and just present it in your paper. This is not that kind of examination. This is purely, at the core of it, it is also a personality test in all the 3 stages of the examination. So the core batch, we are integrating prelims, mains, and also interview. And this year, I'll just tell you briefly about the story of core batch. So long ago, so 2014 January, when I came to Bangalore, I had selected 40 students out of 311 students who had applied for the batch. But then I'm using singular I because I was the one who was running the batch then. I hadn't named it as the core batch. So out of 311 people who, applied, I was scared that how am I going to single-handedly, handle all these 311 people. So I conducted a very basic test. So there was a test on the syllabus itself. Are you aware about the syllabus? So I framed questions on, like, so which part of the ethics syllabus, right, appeals to you most, something like this, and why. And there was a small essay test, and based on that I selected 40 students. And the criteria was, of course, those who wrote well, and also a small background check also. Now we are not doing that. So background check in the sense that not about your ethics and integrity, it's about so where you come from and educational background. And among those 40 students, the way it used to be when we started, it was very intense compared to the present core batch. Every day, 5 days a week, I used to give them 10 questions every day, right? 10 questions. And before giving them 10 questions, so for example, let us say we are starting with the freedom struggle, modern India. So Bipin Chandra was the book I was recommending them, and I would tell them, first 7 chapters for tomorrow's test. 7 chapters for tomorrow test. You have to read, understand, and practice PYQs and come to the test. So, and then I would frame without the help of any AI or anything. Then back then, more analytical questions, more broad questions, and that would make them, force them to think in that moment. So, out of 10 questions, everyone would struggle to answer even 3-4 questions in the beginning. And in next, the target was within next 10 days, they had to complete the entire book of Bipin Chandra, right? So the modern history, the struggle for independence. Similarly, there were other books I was recommending, and then out of 40 students, only 15 stayed back after two and a half months, because it was so rigorous. And then every weekend there was full length prelims mock also. And it was so rigorous, so intense. Everyone was not mentally ready to handle that kind of pressure, because it was becoming very difficult. The criteria was they should have completed syllabus, they should have completed optional, right? But even then, some freshers also had come to that batch. So out of 15 people, eventually 5 got All India ranks. So including All India, rank 8. Now he is currently DC of Raichur. And DK Balaji, you might have read his ethics book. He was one of those 5 students from my first core batch. And then rank 26. Her name is Neha Kumari. She is, I think, Mehsana district in Gujarat or something. She is DC. And Balaji is DC in Machilipatnam. So Machilipatnam in Andhra Pradesh. And there was another Madhusudan Hulgi. So he is Kausambi in UP. So he's the DC there. And one got Satish Reddy, he got rank 96. Only by 1 rank he missed his IAS. And because of his short height, he didn't get IPS. He got into IRS income tax. So he joined Commissioner of Income Tax in Mumbai. So that was literally everyone was in top 100, right? So again, next year, again, some of them gave interview also in the same, out of 15, they missed 3 of them. Next year, they also got through. Next year, 2015, again, we attracted more talent. And one of them, he said, like, what is the name of this batch? So I didn't name it, was just going with, insights on India, insights, something like this. Sir, you have this core group of people, right? Core set of people. He didn't name it. He just said, you have core set of people, whom you are training. And then I went back, the word core stuck with me. And then I named it as the core batch. And that year also we got wonderful result. And 2016, Nandini KR, Balaji DK had written a wonderful article, highlighting his experience at Insights IAS, how everyday practice and how, my evaluation or, insights, whatever, it had helped him, to streamline the preparation, to practice intensely, consistently. And looking at that article, she came. So she got All India rank 1 in 2016. And then the tradition has continued. And then we started something called D Core, Delhi Core batch. And they're like consistently for 3 years, 3 people delivered top 10 ranks. One of them again got All India rank 3 also. After Nandini, next year, Sachin Gupta, he came and he got All India rank 3 also. So the tradition has been there, but it was broken by the COVID in between. The 2 years came and we were not able to do intensely the way we were doing in the offline, because what used to happen was we would initiate this batch, taking all the serious students who are hell bent on getting the rank in the very next attempt, that too, very good rank. And eventually what would happen, the moment we initiated, they would come to know each other, interact with each other, and then they would form a small groups of, their own peer group. 3 people, 4 people. Usually based on optional, we would form the groups. And then eventually, based on the like-mindedness, based on the how frequency was matching between them, they would form their own groups, and after every test, they would sit and discuss each and every question. Everyone was contributing their points. So we had that kind of setup. Still, we have that kind of setup. So for this year core batch, so we have a setup. We have podcast room where, so all nice lounge. This airport lounge like setup. All the sofa, yellow, blue, green color, right? So you people, after the test, either you can sit here and discuss, or you can go to podcast room. 4 to 6 hours will make it available. You can sit and discuss also. You can go to the terrace also. We can put some chairs, so in the terrace also, and that is the way forward, right? So you prepare and come, you write, you discuss, and then everyone contributes. After writing, you will come to know where you made mistakes. So was it knowledge deficit, and someone will contribute. So the gaps will go on filling, and so the tradition has continued, and there have been few modifications. But this year, looking at the kind of generation we have, yours is a totally different generation compared to generation only, right? So Gen Z, whatever it is, right? So for all of you people, yours is the generation where everyone expects speed. It should be blink it, right? And then second one, you expect quality, utmost quality, right? So the food may come fast. It has to be good, tasty, right? If it is not tasty, you are going to hit the delivery person, right? And then the third is, all of you expect lots of respect also, right? And that's the kind of generation we have, which is natural. And then you expect result also, right? For all the efforts you are putting in, you also want result. So the patience is a very big virtue, right? Has been a very big virtue. But this is a generation where the patience is not a very big virtue. Everybody wants to succeed in as minimum time as possible, which is good. So considering all of your aspirations, all of your personality types, so what we are doing, we are going to make this program a more holistic, right? The focus will be more on getting the best out of you without spoon feeding anything. But we want to individually guide every one of you in the core batch. The reason why mentorship is very professional at Insights IAS, because from day one, I have noticed mentorship is not for motivating you. Mentorship is not there to ensure consistency. Mentorship, the original goal of mentorship is to ensure originality in your answers or your essays or in your individuality, in your personality, right? So that is what the mentorship actually does. So when teacher gives a model answer in the classroom, so we know that because of the herd mentality, everyone tends to use, to save the time, to save the resources, the same examples that are given in the classroom, the same model approach given in the classroom. It has been the bane in this UPSC preparation. You download the topper's copy, right? So when you have the luxury of accessing many toppers copies, right? Earlier that luxury didn't exist. So you download 10 copies, note down 10 different examples from 10 copies, right? And then you think that you have made a unique note out of it, right? And then you think your notes is unique because you have downloaded from 10 toppers. Somebody who has downloaded 11 copies and made notes out of it, he thinks it's more original, 11 copies, right? No, don't do that stuff. You have to read original sources. You have to go back to primary resources, right? You have to put lots of efforts. So that is when the originality will be seen in your efforts, right? Otherwise, you will be putting lots of effort. If you're reading substandard resources before coming to the examination and then writing answers, so it is not going to improve the quality, right? Speed might improve. You will be able to answer 20 questions in 3 hours, 2 essays very well in 2 hours. But as long as you are not allowing, as long as you're not resorting to the quality sources, right? Whether it is for essay, and yesterday Umesh sir had a wonderful session on the essay. So it was more about how to bring literary dimension, I think. So lots of literary example. So I saw in one of the photos, so you had mentioned Walden, Henry David Thoreau, that you had. So I see people writing Sapiens and feeling very happy about it, in their essay. Nowadays, Viktor Frankl. Everybody writes Viktor Frankl example, and they think that man search for meaning. And they have written really exceptionally good example. Right? What is unique to you is obvious to us. Right? What you think is unique to you, what you think is original to you, from our perspective, it has become obvious. Because you have no idea, because everything revolves around, 5, 6 toppers copies, right? Or maybe 1 or 2 people in your peer group. For us, it is like hundreds of people, thousands of people with whom we are in regular touch, right? In all our centers, through online, offline. Because at Insight Says, it's all about individual guidance. So you might have seen me sitting there and evaluating essays. Umesh sir, Pradeep sir, now Shaman sir is also here, Nikhil, Shashank. So Shashank was evaluating one of the essays when I entered the room. So everyone, there Ashish sir, and then, Aditya sir is also here. Everyone have their own set of students, not just this year students, the students from last 4 to 5 years who have been in touch with them. So every year is a new cycle in this examination, right? The content, the material, the notes you had last year is just a base notes, right? That is not a primary ultimate source for you. It must be updated, right? So without updating either your optional, without updating your whatever notes you prepared for either for even for ethics and essay, without updating them, if you think that ethics notes you had last year is going to help you in this year mains, then you are wrong. It must be updated. When we say updated, it is not merely updating from the current affairs. Updating doesn't mean updating from the current affairs, right? That is a big dimension when it comes to dynamic topics, right? But updating also means upgrading the kind of examples you are writing, right? The quality of examples, the quality of references, the quality of case studies, right? So every year you should have a keen eye in observing such kind of examples, case studies, right? Wherever it is relevant from diverse sources. And I myself, or everyone, we have the habit of updating ourselves also, right? So let us say like Sapiens sold very well, maybe 7, 8 years ago, and it became a world's bestseller and made Yuval Noah Harari one of the most heard voice in the world. And then his book Homo Deus came, and then the Nexus came, and 21 lessons for 21st century. Some 4 or 5 books came. All of them have become hit. But even today I see people writing only the Sapiens, right? The rest of his books, right, are his ideas that which come in various podcasts. If at all you want to mention Yuval Noah Harari and talk about his ideas, it is not 7-year-old book and the ideas in that book. He also has updated, he also has changed his ideas during the course of 6, 7 years. And any evaluator, and I firmly believe when it comes to UPSC, all of you must be mindful about this fact. UPSC doesn't compromise in any way at any stage of the examination. When it expects quality, it is the quality that you have to showcase, utmost quality. And what do I mean by this is that to expect quality out of you, they have to recruit, right, quality people for evaluation, right? Only quality people can expect quality from you, right? If the people who are going to evaluate are not updated, are not deep in their thoughts, or doesn't have good academic record, so they are not going to see the quality in your answers. So I firmly believe the best minds that are there in all the best universities, and don't listen to all the bias that exist outside. this government is there, that kind of people will come, this and that. No, the UPSC strictly doesn't allow any kind of such biases in any stage of the examination, including in the interview also, right? It's about your effort, your consistency, your merit. So a philosophy professor who goes on to evaluate your essay, right, in the mains examination, he is not somebody who is stuck in the time loop in the past, right? He would be attending seminars, he would be writing papers, reading deep, reading well, thoroughly updated. And the moment they glance through your introduction and essay, they will know that, right? Whether your essay is updated, original, or mediocre and substandard, right? Based on the previous year trends. It takes enough, like, 1 to 2 pages, even for me, like I've been doing this exercise since 2013 December, right? 13 December, since 2013 December, except barring last year 6-7 months, almost every day I have done this exercise, right? Barring last 6-7 months during the 2024, and even now I am coming 3 to 4 days and checking the essays of at least minimum 5 people, maximum 10 people every day, and it takes hardly 4 to 5 minutes, just glance to exactly award you marks, the kind of marks plus or minus 5 you are actually going to get in the UPSC examination. There are few elements which directly indicate that your essay is substandard, not original. Similarly with the answers also. GS 1, 2, 3, 4. The answers is not always about the content part, the knowledge, information part. We have this tendency because of the kind of education system, we have all come up with, except barring few people, those who had the chance of, let's say, getting education from maybe national law school kind of education institutions. The information overload. We believe that a good answer is that answer which has more number of facts and examples, more number of points, right? And also we also get attracted to individuals who has lots of factual knowledge, right? The exam has become more analytical, right? It is more about critical thinking, it's more about analytical thinking. Facts, examples, data, very important. They must be there in your answer, but your answer and essay should be balanced in such a way that, right, a glimpse into a critical mind, the one who is writing the answer. So if that is not seen in your answers, right, so mere content is not going to get you good marks. So the way you write introduction should be analytical. Definition is not an introduction, right? A random reference to any report or any data, any fact is not an introduction. So that I think the faculties and everyone will actually discuss, right? So the introduction for all the answers, including GS 1, 2, 3, if the question starts with what, right, then maybe we can directly start with an introduction, right? If the question is, there are two parts to question, I think you all of you are aware, right? There is a subject topic part and then there is directive part. So the directive part, you have seen all the things: examine, analyze, comment, critically analyze, critically discuss, right, elucidate, explain, enumerate. So all these are directive words. So the directive word, why it is called a directive word, is it is actually directing you to in a very specific direction. There is a specific expectation, there is a specific demand. So when they say analyze, right, the analysis part must be very much evident, where you have broken the question into multiple parts, your answer into multiple parts, right? In each and every part, there is a conceptual clarity, there is also an opinion wherever it is required, and then interlinking between each and every part. So I see people sometimes without creating parts, you write and analyze. People have this wrong notion. Analysis means giving positive side and negative side. So you write 5 points positive, 5 points negative, even when the question might have only one side, right? So I keep giving the example of untouchability. Like if there is a question on untouchability, there is no other side to it, right? You can never defend untouchability. You cannot create two compartments in your answer saying that no, untouchability should not be abolished or should have been something like this, right? So, because this original thinking is lacking. And this year essay paper they gave 16 sides and people have filled 16 sides. That is utter stupidity, right? Those who have filled 16 sides, because I have become a bit straightforward nowadays. So I'm telling you, you're not going to get good marks in the essay paper, right? So the word limit is 1200. Only if you're writing 60 to 70 words per page, per side, then maybe 16 side will make sense. As I told, because of the experience, it is like so subconscious. When you are evaluating essay, I know that the 1200 word limit has been already reached, or it is breached. So some people, because 16 page was given this year, some people came with 16 page essays, right? Still the bracket, it is still the 1200 words, right? There is a essay topic, 2 topics we have to write, 1200 word is still the limit. But because UPSC gave 6, now you think that UPSC is smart, right? It is playing games with you. If it has given 16 pages, then that means 16 pages must be filled with something, right? So you are already struggling to generate ideas and arguments for 12 sides, and you fill nonsense with in another 3-4 sides. If you add, just put that full stop, conclusion, after you had written 1200 words, you would have scored maybe 50. Now by writing 2 to 3 pages extra, you have gone back to 30 now, right? Because you have written something hollow, diluted, maybe some cooked up some content or anything, right? And this will also impact your second essay, because it took lots of time to write, lots of nonsense stuff in the first. So you have to be original, right? You have to have, a self-belief. You have to be smart. There is something called, the presence of mind, situational awareness, adaptability, right? So these are very important. Adaptability here is not filling the 6 pages, being smart and adaptable, right? So all these things, right, as part of the core batch, because you are going to write total 168 tests, right? 68 mains and 80 prelims. 68 mains you are going to write. The good thing about Insights IAS program is that essay is always an integral part of our programs, right? Always. So it is not a separate package or anything. So we take essay very seriously because it is for 250 marks, just like the GS1 paper or GS2 or GS3 paper, where you put entire year of efforts for just to master modern history, geography, polity, economy, at the cost of your personality in the 275 marks personality test and essay paper that is for 250. The two things, 2 papers which have become 2 aspects of the examinations which have become pivotal, extremely important in determining your rank. And these 2 are the determinants of your rank, and you are doing everything at the cost of these 2, essay paper and the interview. I have thought about interview. There is an interview stage after mains, right? You don't think about it. Because let us see after, passing the mains, after writing the mains, right? Nobody is worried about, unless you are very confident, with your personality, right? So if you're already confident with your personality, don't worry about personality test. But if you think that your communication is weak, right? The communication skill is weak, and you don't have hobbies and extracurriculars to write, right? So then I think you must take interview, that personality test also very seriously. So by writing 68 main, that is 20 essay and 19 ethics, 29 GS papers, 1, 2, 3, right? So what will happen is that in the beginning, first few days, you will feel like highly motivated, pumped up, you feel suddenly you have entered a very new zone where, right, for the first time in your life, the best of your abilities being tested, and you feel that actually. The one common feedback in the core batch, we don't have time for anything, right? It you there is no time for to get distracted also, right? So you are stuck here, constantly reading, updating, coming and writing the test. But that internal drive, motivation, self discipline, it has to be sustained, right? So that is the challenge. The overall preparation, that is the challenge, sustaining the momentum. The thing you start, again our observation, if there are 50 people in the core batch, by the time you have the last mains test on 18 February 2026. It used to be April, earlier batches. And all of you have this, tendency to shift to prelims preparation from January onwards. Till then, you don't want to, right? Either clear prelims or prepare for prelims. You suddenly want to start preparing for prelims. And this preparation is not about prelims or what? I mean, till December, whatever you do you think it is not going to help? Right? And again, it is, I don't know, like, it is a Delhi thing. Right? A Delhi, a commercial thing, coaching thing. So you have various courses, packages, people tell you till December you do mains related courses, join, write, this and that, and then they launch all prelims related. If you want to crack prelims in 2026, the most intelligent thing to do is to start practice as early as possible. Right? The thing you want to do, either from January, March, or April, right? If you start doing it from now only, it is like, 3 times better preparation for the prelims in 2026. So I believe it is purely common sense thing, right? So I don't know, like, correct ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೂ ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇರೆನೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಧರ್ಮ ಇದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಧರ್ಮ ಟು sarcastically tell you few things so that they get what? Lost. They get stored in your memory, right? Sarcasm is the best thing to ensure that people remember. The next best thing is to humiliate, right? But we don't humiliate you here, right? So maybe our evaluators might do, but so in these sessions we don't do that. So it is integrated. Every week you have prelims test as part of the core batch. While you are giving the mains test, doesn't mean that you have become very intelligent, you have to skip the prelims test, right? Give all the mains test, you are still the same guy. Come and attend the prelims test also, right? So if you're not giving this prelims marks, right? I had I hope it's okay for all our faculties if I go on talking. Em Pradeep sir, time ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಭಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರಂಗೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಏನು ಸರ್, ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಂದೊಂದು ಕಾಮಿಡಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇವರು ಶಮನ್ ಸರ್, ಉಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಕಾಮಿಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನು ಸರ್, ತಲೆ ಬಾಚ್ಕೊಂಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಟೀಮ್. ಈ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಲೇ ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ನೆನಪಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ನನಗೆ, ಈ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ಲು, ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ಲು, ಗ್ರೇಟ್, ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಗೈನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ no, it was always great, like there is nothing to make great it. Yeah. So I had my theory with respect to prelims, and why this integrated preparation is the way forward. Prelims, as we know, is more about testing your concepts and the way you apply those concepts, right? And also your familiarity with, right, the most important facts and data, everything related to everything that is there in the syllabus. It is objective test. The answer is in front of you. You have to just figure out which is the correct answer. It is in front of you. It is not hidden from you, right? It is lying in front of you. You just have to figure out which is the correct answer, right? So now to figure out the correct answer, I think I believe the intuition plays very important role. Intuition, right? So the small inner voice, the first inner voice that comes out, right? The moment you see something, right, before you become rational, before you become, you start overthinking, right? They come later. The first instance is the intuition, right? So this intuitive thinking, it has to be strengthened. The intuitive, it is not, you know, it's not the final measure or final step where you totally depend on the intuitive thinking. It is the beginning, right? It is just letting you know that what may be the correct, or in some cases what is the right answer. So usually intuition gets strengthened with lots of experiences, lots of iterations, lots of familiarity, right, with what you are doing. It can be in life, it can be in love, it can be in relationship, it can be in examination. So it's about deepening and strengthening, right? So that intuitive thinking through, we're going through lots of experiences. So in this prelims case, I believe doing lots of practice, right, and coming and giving the test in the simulated examination like environment repeatedly will strengthen your intuitive thinking. It is always supported by your preparation. You're not merely coming and mechanically doing it, right? You're reading, revising, you're making notes, right? So if you start early, right, this intuitive thinking gets strengthened. You have luxury of time to sit and analyze the test after giving the test, right? After giving prelim test for 2 hours, you have the luxury of time right now. It is not January yet, right? So you can go back and 4 to 5 hours you can sit and analyze where you went wrong, why you went wrong. If you didn't know any concept, you can learn new, right? You can correct your concepts, right? So you have time. When you start giving these tests January, February, March onwards, you have time, but you think you don't have time, right? So you don't have that much patience. It is just to, you are just practicing for the sake of practicing. You just want to solve lots of questions, then you think that you're preparing well, right? So it is kind of fleeting in nature. You're giving one test and then taking another test. It's kind of a random exercise. There is no method to that exercise, or there is no purpose in that, right? You think there is a purpose, there is no purpose. So if you start from now onwards, why, like if I give the prelim test to Aditya sir, or Ashish sir, or any of our seniors, any faculties at Insight says, except me, right, the prelim test, they will hands down score minimum 100 marks, right? They may be teaching only geography, polity, over a period of now they are into this like 10 to 15 years now as an aspirant and as a teachers. The intuition has strengthened, right? The concepts are solid, right? They don't have to mug up things or prepare or revise multiple times, and they have figured out the pattern in the examination and everything. So you have to achieve that kind of preparation. So that is why you have to start early. So those who have already written mains and given interview, I don't recommend the similar thing. So because maybe it is already strengthened in you, so you take your own time. The mains provides analytical depth. Writing mains answer at the same time giving prelims, both are complementary to each other. So that is the way, that is how we have designed in an integrated way in the core batch. So prelims, you get facts and example, conceptual clarity, and you can include them in your answers. Again, the subject wise, they are similar every test. And every week we have one essay and one ethics test, right? And they are going to be discussed and evaluated. And this year, the difference is that all our faculties who are here, Nikhil sir, Shaman sir, Shashank, Umesh, Pradeep, Ashish, and Aditya. So we are all going to handhold you in a way that we will select like 5-6 students, and we are going to individually mentor all of you throughout the preparation till your interview, next interview, not just prelims or mains. And Aditya sir, he is our prelims expert. Shaman sir is our CSAT expert here. So both, again, CSAT we are taking very seriously this time. So he is going to conduct at least one session in a week, 2 sessions in a week to discuss CSAT also. And don't ignore CSAT. Don't think you are very intelligent and no, you are not intelligent, right? In front of the UPSC, right? Until you have cracked and become IAS officer and done something good to the country, you are not intelligent yet. So don't assume, don't think. I am also not intelligent. I just told you, right? Except me, everybody can solve the paper. I'm a stupid guy here. So don't be overconfident. Don't think that you know all the things. Keep practicing. This year we had a topper talk, Prativa Lama, right? She's a graduate from IIM Bangalore, and first CSAT she did really well. Second CSAT she ignored. She failed in CSAT, and then third CSAT she watched my video where I always keep saying, always go back to basics, go back to basics, start from basics, don't ignore basics, keep repeating the basics. NCERT you might have read long ago, right? If you have kept your NCERT somewhere, right, just remember where you have kept them now, right? So take them out, start reading them again. Always, for every test, read your basics and then go to your notes, right? Don't ignore basics. So she went back to basics and then again she went back to 140 score in CSAT and then she got rank. So doesn't matter you studied in IIM, cracked CAT examination, GMAT, whatever. The UPSC is a humbling experience. So if you want to become humble, you ignore, right? If you want to become Vinaya, right? If humility, develop humility, then you ignore. Otherwise, don't ignore any aspect of this examination, right? So, and then these people have mentioned elite mentorship program featuring Vinay sir and our most experienced core faculties. There is nothing elite about this. Our mentors are available for everyone at Insights IAS, OGP students, core batch. It is just that you have come through a system now. You might have read systems analysis in geography, or I think in every discipline it is there. So I believe in putting in place systems, bringing you people into the system, right, inside the system, and allowing that system to help you. And that system will help you only when you have a minimum intelligence to make use of the system, right? In my orientation for new OGP, I tell people why people fail. One of the reasons, they come to Bangalore or they go to Delhi and they continue to be their old selves, the way they used to be during their college days, right, engineering days. They come here, they attend the class, they sit in the class, they listen, they go back to their room, and then they make notes and read notes and write the test. You can do the same back at home, right? If you're not interacting with anyone here, with our faculties, mentors, right? If you're not interacting with anyone here, maybe peer group, not discussing, not learning from the people around you, now what is the point of coming here, right? What is the point of going to Delhi? The coaching won't help you. Now, you know that, like, it's everywhere, knowledge. You can generate, you can get it instantly, like, fraction of second, right? Now, the mentorship plays critical role, right, in your success. Again, coming to core batch, just writing and then going back, feeding it in chat GPT, getting it evaluated, or asking it to generate something. Don't do that, right? You can do that to learn something extra. But the primary resource for evaluation and interaction should always be us, including me, all the faculties who are here. This will speed up your progress like anything, right? I'm not sure if he is here. Varun, yeah, he's not here. So okay, I told his name also. Fine. I'll just give an example. He came like a very talented guy in the first attempt, and I had huge hopes. I told him you are going to crack this examination in this attempt because very intelligent, very smart guy. So he was writing good. So that year I think he scored really. He cracked prelims, wrote mains, got good marks in essay. I was looking at his essay, and then maybe because of socio-economic reasons or something, he went back home and started preparing from home. From there, again he gave 2 interviews. Never came for mock interview. The interview score went down, 150 something. And then essay marks progressively went down to somewhere around 90s in the last attempt. It never went up. So he came back again, right? So he has shown 6 essays, and the first essay and the 6th essay. First essay I gave somewhere around 35 or something. So yesterday I gave him 55 marks, right? There is a tremendous improvement. The guy is smart, intelligent. The mistake he did was going back, thinking that I had all the information, notes, everything, right? So don't do that. Go to everyone. If it is CSAT, Shaman sir is there. If it is prelims overall, Aditya sir is there. For all any general studies answers, all our faculties are there, right? Essay and ethics, Umesh and myself are there, right? An interview, I am here. If you are interested in the interview from now itself, I can guide you. The kind of books you need to read, the kind of hobbies you need to develop. I'm not sure if you have seen people. You people don't see our videos because they are 1 hour, 2 hour long, right? So I keep telling about developing minimum 2 hobbies, something intellectual, especially writing and reading, right? They're very important and very like they're complementary to your entire preparation, prelims, mains, and interview as well. If you are not developing them, then right, as I told in the beginning, the interview you are ignoring and essay also. 2 disciplines, right, in non-fiction category. So pick up whatever it is. If you want to read about history in general, right? So like Shashi Tharoor has written books on history. Ramchandra Guha has written, William Dalrymple has written books on history. Now his son is writing books on history. There is a good Twitter account, where every day they keep talking about digging history and talking about. And then you have Romila Thapar, both academic and non-academic kind of books. Satish Chandra. So you have lots of people writing, history books. And then we used to read A.L. Basham book, The Wonder That Was India. There were 2 volumes when we were reading, when we were preparing. See the way the preparation has become. When we were preparing, we used to read standard textbooks and we used to fail. The exam was not so analytical at that time. I am talking about my experience between 2005 to 2011, right? So the questions were straightforward. Artificial intelligence, 20 marks, right? 40, 50 words. There was no question, just artificial intelligence. Vibe coding, no, not wife, vibe, VIBE. What is vibe coding? Can anybody tell me? Computer science ಯಾರಿದಾರಲ್ಲಿ? VIBE, vibe coding. Why are you calling vibe coding? Correct. Very good. Correct. It's a creative input, not emotional. It's a creative input. So creatively you give the prompt, right? You just tell, what kind of code you want. Then it does. That is called vibe coding, and it became very prominent only for a few months. And then AI started doing vibe coding now. Right. Prompt engineering, everybody thought that is the future. And then AI is prompting AI to do something. So the nature of the question used to be like that, straightforward, factual. Now it is more analytical, and the way you prepare for the examination is reversed. All you are preparing from these coaching notes, coaching materials, they are there for revision, right? Not your primary materials. Like our current affair compilation, it is for monthly revision, not your primary source. You, after reading The Hindu or Indian Express or Live Mint paper, you do the quiz, you do the secure initiative, right? And you read the current affairs. Without these papers, if you are doing it, then you are not going to be original, right? Similarly, there used to be original books. So now, in coming years, UPSC will force you to become more original, going with the more original sources. Reading literature will become compulsory. Reading philosophy will become compulsory. Reading psychology will become compulsory. If at all they remove optional in the future. So I think philosophy and psychology are going to be a part of the syllabus, including management, right? So that expectation is there. It is not explicitly mentioned anywhere. So bit of philosophy, right? So out of those two hobbies, you can develop anything. It can be related to technology, history, philosophy, right? So that is how. Otherwise, in core batch, you will improve answer writing, everything. You will write mains, you will clear mains also. But what is the point of it if you are going to fail in the interview? Right. So integrate, it can be done. Half an hour effort every day, you can complete at least 20 books in a year. Just half an hour effort. You can minimum 20 books you can read in a year. Right. By the time you give interview next year, you can actually complete minimum 20 books without, negatively impacting your overall UPSC preparation. In fact, that will complement and support, right, your entire UPSC preparation. So that is a way forward. So wish you all the best. And they will all talk about 5 to 10 minutes each, talking about what they are going to do, their roles, and also we will also be having lots of discussions within ourselves. We will be doing podcasts, video, and we are very passionate about this now, right? So I have something called from Inside Says we have something called Mission 100, right? So we want 100 ranks from Karnataka. Now you can come from other states, but from Inside Says you can get ranks. It is not that only Kannadigas, but Kannadigas we want 100 ranks, but you can add 10 more ranks, 20 more ranks by coming year, and you can invite all your friends if they are in the other states also. Bangalore is a very safe city, right? Only somewhere in Electronic City, Whitefield, some incidents might have taken place. This is Vijayanagar, right? Vijayanagar is the core of the Bangalore where people are happy and they mind their own business, right? And food is great, the area is great, air is great, insights is great, everything is great. So no, we want this to become the number one hub in India, naturally, right? So it's so good here. So I don't know why you want to go to Delhi and inhale all the toxic air and lots of money. CSAT, see 55,000 for optional. CSAT some 30-40,000. The kind of mentorship we have now, they have packaged and selling it for 40-50,000 per annum. Everything is there here, right? And the best quality is available here, free, right? So people have this mindset, if it is high price, then it is maybe good or something, right? So, Bant. Yes. So Chirag is here, right? He has been showing lots of essays, and she is also writing lots of essays. She's intelligent because she is in touch with intelligent people. So, right. Yeah. No, I didn't talk about me. She's in touch with like Aditya sir, Ashish sir, right? So all the best. ಒಳ್ಳೆದಾಗ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ದೇವರು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎರಡು ಕಿವಿ ಮಾತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕಿವಿಯಾಗ ಬಂದು ಹೇಳೋದಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ if at all you are really ambitious, right, 25 attempt you want to really crack the examination, don't skip any single test, right? Have the ambition target of giving all 168 tests. If you give all 168 tests, right, the day you give 168th test including prelims, mains, the 168th test is the test just before the mains next year. You give that test and come to me, right? In the blank paper, I'll also write your rank and tell you which rank you are exactly going to score, right? So we are so confident. The practice will every time, all the time, everywhere will always beat the talent, right? This is insane amount of practice, if you do this, and you can actually do it. Now, what are the barriers? What will prevent you from giving the test? All the rationalization, invented excuses, right? Your mind invents, your mind creates all of them. Even when you haven't prepared, right? Just come and give the test. Write one or two answers, right? Create some answers. Give work to your mind. Be creative. Write nonsense stuff. Write very imperfect answer. Write ridiculously bad essay, right? But coming here and doing it, right? That action will actually prepare you, for bigger battle, strengthen you, transform you. This is eternal truth, right? No excuse at all. Second thing, don't in the first half, like first few tests, uh, it's not about quality, or it's not about prestige or anything. So don't be under pressure to answer all the questions, right? So don't take extra time. People have tendency to, like if it is a 1 hour test, they want to take 1.5 hours, half an hour extra. So don't take extra time. 1 hour means 1 hour. You just stick to the time limit in every test, right? So try to do your best. Essay, don't take extra time, right? Whatever questions you are missing, go back home. If you want to practice, you practice. If you want to learn, you learn. But in the examination hall, write within the time limit, because after 3-4 months, within the same time limit, you would have improved a lot, right? Instead of writing 3 answers, you will be writing 6 answers within 1 hour of time. So in a natural way, right? So your capabilities will increase, will get enhanced when you stick to the time limit. So don't breach the time limit. So these are the two very important observations, because people want to get good scores, right? Why you want to write test? You want to get good marks. Come out of that. So every test is an experience, to learn new lessons. So keep that in mind, and eventually you will see that scores will improve, the speed will improve, quality will improve, presentation, structuring, everything will naturally improve over a period of time. So all the best. Thank you. Claps ಹೊಡಿತವ್ರೆ. Anyway, thank you. So ಇವಾಗ I'll hand over to Pradeep sir. So Pradeep ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಉಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆರ್ಡ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. ಶಮಂತ್, ಶಶಾಂಕ್, ನಿಖಿಲ್ ಸರ್, ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್, ನಿಖಿಲ್ ಸರ್, and then Aditya, and in the end Ashish. So they will all talk about the core batch, what they are going to do. So I'll hand over mic to one and only Pradeep sir. Thank you. Director.
Good afternoon all. So
Hello.
energy kadme ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So like as sir told, this is going to be very intensive course. So even giving your best sometimes will not be enough. So be prepared and ನಮಗೆ ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay. So we'll be meeting frequently. Okay. So you'll be having one open group where you can talk to the mentors and let them know that you want to meet them. So we'll fix up the slots mutually and we'll discuss based on the mutual convenience. And you have the liberty to bring any subject paper to any faculty, not at all an issue. And you can meet and interact with whoever you feel comfortable with. So there's no issue, like you should be only going to this, that, sir. There's no such thing. And every week, we have also planned to give you the current affairs sessions. So Canvas 360, like they'll take up the issues, thematic issues, and that issue will be dealt in a very comprehensive manner so that you don't have to refer to any other source for those issues. It will be dealt from both prelims, mains, and interview angle. So it will help you to formulate a very good opinion on every burning issue that is ongoing. Okay, so that is one thing. And every week we have ethics and essay test followed by very good discussions by Umesh sir. And you also have 2 CSAT sessions every week. So if you are weak in CSAT, do not miss that. And if you are good also, don't get complacent and overconfident. Attend them. Okay. So like those areas where you feel that you lack the depth or you lack the speed or accuracy, at least for those areas, you can attend and be exam ready all the time. Okay. So with all this being said, I'll be meeting you for orientation on modern Indian history, and we'll meet on various post-test discussions and also the orientation sessions. Okay. So all the very best for your preparation. Be consistent, and you shall succeed. Thank you all. Now I welcome one and only Umesh sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Tough situations make tough men. What about women? They are already tough. All right? Dear sisters, don't file any cases against me. Be that as it may, when you look into core, sir was talking about the factual aspects of it. 168 test, prelims test, mains test, everything cumulatively, your prelims, your mains, as well as your interview. One thing, on day number 1, your confidence is sky high. But as time progresses, the confidence, as you know, might not be the same. It will start reducing a bit. The hope might seem to ebb a little bit. However, my dear request, when that seems to happen, approach your faculties, approach your mentors, and if that happens, please know that you're on the right path. Today, before coming here, I was having conversation with a student of mine, an OJP student, sorry. Okay. An OJP student. And she was asking me, sir, these days I'm not feeling confident. My confidence is not that high as day number 1. The reason is very simple. She's going through a methodology. She's going through a concept called as Dunning-Kruger bias. Understanding? On day number 1, you don't have so much of knowledge about the subject. Your confidence is high. But as in when you accumulate more knowledge, you will understand the depth is quite a lot. Am I right? Avaga solpa battery off agute. Am I right or am I wrong? And most of the people, when this confidence dips, they give up. This is where you have to buckle up. This is where you have to look for solutions to improve and keep increasing so that you reach the confidence level that you had on day number 1, and if possible, increase it even more. So the 168 test that is there, it's just a number. Turn up each and every day for this test. Give each and every test. Don't worry about the results because your UPSC has told you it's not about the destination. It's always been about the journey. So enjoy the journey. Whatever we have to do from our side, it will always be there. You can approach me in terms of ethics and essay. Sir was talking about ethics and essay, and sir was talking about these days people are just putting examples in a very factual, mechanical sort of way. They depend upon the notes that they have access to on Telegram or the notes that you have made some 2 years ago, 1 year ago, be that as it may. The content is the secondary part. The most important thing is thinking. All GS subjects are great, but when it comes to ethics, essay, the kind of analytical thinking you bring into the process is of a different level altogether. And this is where the discussions that we will be having with regards to ethics and essay will be useful to you. It's not just about learning literature, but how these literary artists think. How is it that I can apply this literary artist related work to what is happening in and around us? That is what is more important. And we will be focusing on the thought process. If you sort this one out, everything else will follow automatically. All right. Before coming here, I had made a point that I will end my speech in 2 minutes. But as Sir has given me, Vin Diesel of India, or Vin Petrol, E20 version, slow and steady. All right. But slow and steady wins the race. Always remember that. Okay. So now I hand over the mic to the actor, the senior, and the oldest faculty here.
Good afternoon, everyone, guys. Yeah, my name is Shamant Gowda. Some of you guys know me. How many of you are humanities here? None of you guys? Okay. See, definitely for humanities, basically, the CSAT has become a nightmare from the past 3-4 years. Okay, and also I've seen out of 10 students who qualify the GS1, among them 3 to 4 are not able to qualify the CSAT. Okay, because of that, they are missing just the ranks there. So, in this regard, this time in the core batch, starting from the 10th of October, every week we'll be starting 2 classes. The classes will be regard to conceptual clarity, the basic trend, the moderate question, as well as the exam related upcoming questions. So you have to attend only these 2 sessions so that you can ensure no other practice, no other books. Everything will be taken care of. The things every week, 2 classes, 30 days, approximately 100 hours of classes. So I'll ensure each and every one, all 50 or 60 of you guys who are sitting here will qualify the CSAT this time. Okay, because the timing is everything. Okay, as early you start the preparation, at the end you don't compromise the GS there. Okay guys, we'll see you in the class. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. So I think most of you have an idea regarding core batch, right? Here, this is not going to be teaching. It's not like a normal your OGP classes. So there is this Japanese proverb which say that rather than feeding a man fish every day, you teach him the art of fishing. That will enable him to survive. So that is the motto here. So main thing what many people look at UPSCs from 2 point of view. One is knowledge point of view, which many believe that knowledge is what gets them to the final list, which is actually a myth. The reason is that there are people with lesser knowledge than you who are already in the list. Okay. So if you look at all our faculties here, I think none of them have been selected, including me. Right? We are into teaching. So what is that one thing which did not take us into the final list? Knowledge, though, of course, all the faculties have more knowledge than you. But when we were writing the exam, why we didn't come into the final list? Because there is no link between knowledge and results. To get results, you need to develop certain skills which the toppers do have. Okay. And why the core batch? Why can't we take everybody into the course? It's a two-way relation. So if we get a right set of people that we can shape into getting a rank, it will be also beneficial for the academy, but also for the people to find the right set of people to guide them into that list is also needed. For example, you take F1 race. Michael Schumacher, given his skills of driving, had he not had a Ferrari or he didn't take up a Ferrari, I don't think so he would have been the top one F1 driver. Same way, let us think, if you give Ferrari to a person who does not know to drive or lacks the skill of Schumacher, then also Ferrari cannot be in the top pole position. It's a mutual relation. What do we have? So core batch is more about discussion, bringing the great minds together at one particular place. And that's why I think Vinay sir kept saying that, see, courses can be done offline, online also from your place of your house. The problem is that students don't interact. That is what first I saw insights, and later what I have seen insights. That's my point of view, that there is not sufficient discussion among the student community as a whole. Okay, I don't see two, three people coming together saying that, okay, we have written answers on this topic. You give your viewpoint. It's more about what I'll sit in a class. We'll attend the post-mortem analysis. What is post-mortem analysis? After the exam, I can give you 100 points. The reason is that I'll study 3 different books and I'll come and tell you can write this way also, you can write that way also. But if you ask me only, okay, sir, I'll give you a given time. I'll give you a question. Within 7 minutes, are you able to write what you're able to say? 100% it is not possible by me also, because it requires practice. You get one? Because as a teaching, I'm just teaching, right? I'm not writing any answers. If you come with an answer, I'll give you, you can write this, you will write that. But the difficulty is different, is that when I give you pen and pencil and say that now you write within the given time, do you have it in you to bring those points? It's different thing. Like a car. Now the car might claim when they release the car is that it will give you so and so kilometers. That is all in tested conditions, not in actual condition. Once it comes to road, there are the mileage will drop. So when you also sit and let us say you just go through post-mortem analysis saying that, okay, I'll write down all the points what they said. First of all, that question won't come in the exam. Same question won't repeat. Same themed question can come in the exam. And why reading newspaper is very essential, and most of them don't do. Why? Because today again you can say, sir, we'll get points through ChatGPT, or we get points through different academies notes in that regard. So like to give you just an example, like when I was preparing, there was this issue which had come on maternity benefits bill. Okay, I'm telling at that point of time, the draft bill was there. So like one day when I was reading a newspaper, there was this article which was written by a feminist. Okay. The entire articles prior to that were written positives about maternity benefits bill. Okay, it is going to now, an usher a new era of women empowerment India, etc., etc. But if you go into the original draft bill of the maternity benefits bill, there was nothing called as paternity leave, which was initially included in the bill. So she had written a critic saying that, okay, this is a way state is institutionalizing patriarchy. You know what I mean? Means it is a duty of the woman to rear and bear the child. There is no duty of men. It is only when you read an article, you will also get an idea, okay, I can analyze this way also. The problem is that many don't see it that way. They see mains more about what? By hearting lot of facts and numbers and, information. That's why if you go clearly into UPSC, how many of you have gone through UPSC's mains, that notification what they give, right? How many of you thoroughly gone through it? When they give the syllabus copy, before that clearly they've mentioned something about mains exam. Go check it once again. It's there. We are not looking for the range of information a student possesses. We are looking the critical depth of his analysis. Now, what's the difference between information and analysis? Indian Councils Act 1861. For the first time, it gave representation to 3 Indians. Who are the 3 Indians? Okay, Raja of Banaras, Maharaja of Patiala, Dinakara. This is information. Okay, they ask in prelims, identify, you'll be able to. Now let us see what is your analysis of this information. So one point is that maybe the British wanted to show Indians that we are trying to accommodate Indians, but in reality their goal was that what? It's like carrot and stick policy. On one hand you show the carrot, the other hand you show that it's just at surface level. There is no drastic accommodation they are doing. So that is what you are going to learn in your core batches, the art of analyzing things. It is not just the art of by-hearting things. And that's why I say source is not a bigger problem. Today's source has been highly diversified. Okay, it's your wish. You read any academy source, which is you feel that it will be helpful for the exam. But more about learn to try to think from multiple perspectives. And essay also, like I think Umesh sir is there to help you out with essay papers. But what I think Vinay sir and Umesh sir keep saying in many things, that even what I observe, many students, I don't know, because they lack reading editorial pages, they don't write creatively. Okay, so what is writing creatively? You don't need to write different things. You need to present the same thing in a different way. So let us think there is an essay on gender equality or empowerment. One person had written an essay introduction defining what is gender equality. You can say it's not wrong, but you can say it's nothing special about it. He written what gender equality means. But there was this one of my student who got into the service. The way she had written, the same topic was that on one night in a remote village in India, she had written 2 events happened in a family. One gave happiness to the family, the other sunk the family in deep sorrow. And she went on to write what gave the happiness to the family. The cow in their house that night gave birth to a female calf. The family was elated. But the same night, the daughter-in-law in that family had given birth to a female child. And this shrunk the family into sorrow because now they saw that as a burden. And that she read, this is the irony of Indian society. In the same message, the way you can write creatively, uniquely. So these are the things you are going to learn in this core batch. And again, it depends upon how do you make use of it. Everything depends upon how do you make use of it, how often you come back and you interact with your mentors, how often you show your answers. Like, I hope the same strength remains in next 6 months, because by next 6 months, what will happen? Half of them will start losing that initial josh which is there. So that's why I told it's a gradual improvement that is going to happen. Keep regularly in touch, and more importantly, you yourself form groups. Minimal number of 2-3 people. Interact every day. Come and make use of OGP1. I think which will be free. Okay. This is what I want to communicate. Thank you.
Hello, guys. Yes. So most of you know me, I think, right? Is it not audible? Audible? Not for someone who is sitting front, but someone who is sitting back. Is it audible? All right. So yeah, I will be, handling with respect to the prelims discussion and other things, right? So most of the things already has been told. So again, I don't repeat the same thing, but prelims is something that has become more tricky nowadays, because only one paper is being counted. In mains, what will happen, even if I lose something in essay, I can cover it in GS1, GS2. I have a lot of options to have that comeback. Right here, if you lose that first half an hour, if you feel that the paper is difficult, you are not thinking it properly, then the whole momentum will be gone. Right? So then within that 1.5 hours, the mentally you will not be in a position to manage the things. That is one thing. Or it can be a CSAT, or can be another disaster as well. So keeping that in mind, it is not just about your understanding or the subject as such, but it is also about managing those 2 hours. Right? That will make lot of the thing that you are supposed to understand from now on. For that, basically, you should start learning the things, how to think and other things, even if the paper becomes difficult, because everybody have A, B, C, D kind of set. Many a times what will happen, let's say if I get a set where the question is starting from polity, and if you are good at it, that first 10-15 question you are going to attend and it becomes so easy, your entire mentality will change in the next half an hour, because you will be thinking that even if you are getting another 5-6 question unknown, you are already having that 20-30 marks in your pocket. So you are not worrying much about it. Okay, let me leave it. I will go to the next question and search the things. But for someone, let's say he has got with the history question, and let's say most of the history question were unknown to you. Then the same half an hour can be a mind, mentally what it can be for you. You won't be knowing anything. You start taking initially risk itself. Let me know after, it is our human mentality, right? Whenever you are seeing cricket also, if 3-4 balls has been beaten, even though 5th ball is also a Yorker, a very good ball, batsman, rather than defending it, what he will do? He feels that somehow I want to score because I have not scored in the first 4 balls. So he tried to score it and get out, right? So the same thing happens here. Here what happens, let's say first 3 question you don't know. 4th also you don't know. But your mind is saying, I am leaving too many. So I just want to try out something, and somehow I want to start my, first this thing. And that is how basically you start making the initial mistake, and things will go away from your control. And the mentally, when you feel that paper is difficult, even the easiest question, you think it in a very, as we have told, right? The first intuition we will not say, but we will go for a deeper thinking, right? So there can be, and how this can be avoided. Again, I am someone who has, cleared all my prelims attempt with, 20-30 marks more than IFOS cutoff. Forget about IFOS cutoff, right? But whatever I have learned is basically not with respect to the test series and other things. I have done a lot at home rather than, doing in this environment. But whatever that I have understood from that is basically understanding the UPSC, how the paper will be set, right? So you attend the test, not for basically the tricky kind of thing. So what will happen, I just explain in 2 minutes. So it is something, very, very important that I keep seeing among the students. Why do they do that, what is that overthinking, whatever that they say basically, how do they do and how do they not be in the present moment and do the things basically, is because of all these issues. That is, let's say you will have so many tests. When our intention of giving you so many tests is making sure that you sit for 2 hours, you go through every day, finishing the syllabus on time, so that you are covering the things in 3-4 months my entire revision has been repeated. These are the major idea why we would have given the test. Now what happens in the test, let's say first test you have art and architecture, or the culture basically, whatever you are having. Now here what happens in UPSC, the paper setter, all he has to set is 2 or 3 questions in the entire art and culture. So he has this plenty of scope. He can think that what can be asked, right? And whoever is setting the paper, he is not someone who is expert in prelims paper setting. He is a college professor and he knows more about the content wise. He will be basically evaluating lot of papers in his day-to-day life. But for a master degree people, he will not give you MCQs. So whatever that he is asking, he will be asking a very important topic, and the changes that he do, he will never do the minute changes, right? One extra word he will add and he will make you trap. That will not happen in the prelims, right? Now, because he is not been accustomed to that, right? He is not in a daily way, he is not doing that basically. Once in a while, he will be setting the paper. So question will be difficult because you would not never heard about the topic. I never heard about that topic. That is why it is difficult. That is the way UPSC paper difficulty will be. It is not that you have heard about the topic, but he has gone so deep that you got it confused. That will not happen, right? The vertical depth will not be too high that somebody should go, and study the minute things in the prelims. But only thing how it will be difficult, most of the question you never heard about. You would not have studied about it. In that way, it will become difficult, but not how the question is framed. But now think about the same thing here. Here, what will happen? We have to set up, set 100 questions only within the art and architecture. Now, when you are having a full length on art and architecture, what, from each chapter, I am forcing, let's say painting. UPSC mein, broader mein, this painting is where? State and painting. That much would have been asked. Now, here what we do, we want to set up 5 questions, 10 questions on painting. So, we ask the features of the painting also. We start going the, smaller details about the painting also, right? Who practices it. So, we go so deep. That will force you to read that way for the entire art and architecture book. You take Nitin Singhania, start learning minute things. Without your knowledge, you will be forced to learn the things. So, in test, rather than going that depth, always PYQs should be your base. Right here, we do not have the option. We cannot set all the question at the same level because we have been forced to tell 100 questions. For them, it is only about 3 questions. Right? And if I am setting the paper on a regular basis, basic level first I will set. Second day when you are setting, you become more expert at it. So you start going deeper and deeper. Right? For them, basically once in a year they come and set. So they are completely fresh and they are setting. We are sitting and setting up it on a everyday basis. So we become too in-depth about the question, which is not absolutely required for the examination. Right? So somebody who is, I had done lot of paper, not as a sitting for 2 hours, but only through the synopsis level. So to receive the content rather than solving it, because I initially realized that, this is something, I have to be very careful, because the paper setters always in the institutes, we do go depth because, we do not have much option. So, however, when you are learning, rather than going to that criticality, what you have to understand, the themes you are supposed to understand, and how UPSC is asking, that you are supposed to understand, not the other way around. So, your thought process should not evolve from the questions here, but rather what should evolve, or how you should utilize test series is how to sit for 2 hours. How if you don't know the question, how you should avoid it and go to the next question. Maintaining that mental setup is what you will use this test series, and the extra information you are getting through the synopsis, that you can use, but not for how it will be changed, right? Here what they will do, for example, if I just take a question, CPCB, let's say if I am talking about Central Pollution Control Board, how UPSC sets a question, it has been set up, first question will be, it has been established under Act, Water Act 1974, Air Act 1977, Environmental Protection Act 1986. Like that, basically, they will be giving you different acts. Within that, one act will be changed. The noun will be changed from Water Act to Environmental Protection Act, whether to check whether you know it or not. That is how it will be set up in UPSC prelims. Now, what is their function? We say that they look after, the cleanliness or, other things of lake, rivers, and so that will be there, wells, something. Now here what in many of the institute they will do, wells will be changed and make it tanks. Now when you are studying, it was wells, not tanks. You will put it wrong. So next time whenever you are reading normally, rather than thinking that a regular statement, you start thinking deep, whether well is there or not. You know, wells will be there in every farmer's pond land. Will it CPCB looks into it or not? This is overthinking. Here they don't want to check all those things. Whether it is function is to look after that is what UPSC intended to ask. Not, you know, in one word I will change and check your that minute level. That is not something that has been asked. But in the test, since they want to set up an environmental body itself 10 question, one question they will ask which act. Second question within the function they will change something. So like that they will set up the question, and then you start learning that way only, and your thinking will start, you know, molding in that way only. In the exam you do overthinking. Somehow, sometimes what will happen, you understand my mindset. For example, I change the ministry. Every time whenever I'm asking a scheme, I change the ministry. Now let's say you would have learned that 1 or 2 tests you do the mistake. Third test you came to know ministry is maybe a wrong. That is what I have learned from it. Third test you say that the statement which is having ministry as wrong, and you are becoming correct. So your marks are increasing. So now I am not setting the paper for UPSC. He may be giving the ministry correct, right? So you go with the same mindset. Ministry, if it comes, I should put wrong, right? So rather than going that, right? So that is the mistakes that happens through the TET series that you are going to learn. So you should not always, if you are coming to that conclusion is ministry is wrong, learn it from previous UPSC PYQs, not from our test series. Our test series is mainly done for basically for making you sit for 2 hours. How do you avoid the unknown confusion? How do you apply logic when you have a basic understanding? Because many of the question needs your understanding. Not that you will be knowing everything about it. Let's say if there was a question on parole, they have told that there were 2 statements on parole, right? One of the statement was they were saying that the parole is basically the right of a prisoner, right? So the state cannot deny it. This was the first statement. The second statement on parole was what? The parole basically every state government can have their own prison rules, right? Now if I look at it in 2 ways. One is common sense, saying that there can be a terrorist, there can be someone who is a serial murderer, right? So for them basically you cannot make a parole as their right because they are already convicted. So only state from its goodwill it can give if it wants to give. Let's say their daughter's marriage is there. This, you know, culprits ka someone has been died at home, or some from health grounds they have to give, you know, the facility cannot be given in the prison. So I have to send them there. So in that way, basically looking at a very broad common sense, I can say that yes, it cannot become prisoner, right? It is can be only the state that can give. So that is common sense. Now when I go to the second statement, every state can have their own prison rules. Now if I just use common sense, let's say somebody is having, you know, have crime activities in multiple states, right? Now always he will choose that prison where rules are a little, you know, easier. So we want to have a uniform rule across the prison. That is what your broader thing will come. But this will not apply here, right? Because whenever we are talking about something legal, whether they can have rules or not, rather than using your common sense, what you are supposed to use, you have to go back to your polity and ask the question, what is it prison? Who will make a rule for it? If state should have a separate rules, that means the state should making a rules on it. If prison is a state list, or it has been a subject listed on the state list, what is the rule of state list? Every state in normal times can have their own legislation on the subject listed on the state list. So that means that if prison is one, land is one, agriculture is one, you know, law and order, police, all these are state list. If they are under state list, is it not a, you know, just direct consequence that every state can have their own legislation on it, any rules on it, right? So that means that it is basically every state can have their own rules, make sense when you understand it not from the common sense, but from the polity angle, right? So that means that, you know, whenever it is a more general, you can use the common sense. Whenever it is more specific, legal, you have to go back to your basic understanding of polity and then do it. It is not that I always use the common sense, right? Now, last year, if you have seen one more question on polity, there was a question, right? In which of the following cases you need state's ratification also? For example, for passing GST, you need a state's ratification, right? Not that Parliament alone can decide. 50% of the state with the simple majority should say yes to this, right? So they have given the list. Now, in polity book, they have given 5-6 cases where there is a need of state legislation. For example, where this federal character is involved. For example, president selection. Federal character is involved. But president removal or impeachment, there is no federalism, right? If you are changing it, you don't need a state's permission to change the rules there. But if it is election, since MLAs also involve themselves in the election of president, if you want to change it, you need it. But one of the statement that has been given under that 5-6 condition was any list of Schedule 7. What is Schedule 7? The list that we have spoken about, union list, state list, and concurrent list. So if you want to do any change in any of the list, it can be union list change you want to do. If you want to do change in the state list also, concurrent list also, what you need? You need state ratification. Now, how UPSC has strict it? UPSC did not give any list in Schedule 7 in your option. They give option of union list. Now, what will you come to your mind? Union list means some subject has to be changed. Now, when you look at it only at the common sense level, it is a union list. Why state's permission is required? That question will come to your mind rather than thinking from, polity angle. So whenever you are reading polity, it is always that you yourself should ask the question, any list, I have to be careful here. They can add this thing, right? So how do I read whenever anything is given to me? I will not read it from receiving the consent, consuming the content. Rather, if you give me information, I see what question can come from this. How they can change the question, right? If they have told that it will, P wave travels only, let's say in both solid and liquid. S wave travels only in solid. Then I know that in exam they interchange it. They will make it P wave will travel, only in solid and S wave will travel solid and liquid. Like that they can interchange. I have to be careful here. So I myself frame the question rather than attending the question in the test series. Whenever I am completing some topic, I ask myself what are the various questions that can come, where they can change it, where I have to be careful. So when you are doing it, so you are already underlining this I have to be careful, this I have to be careful. More you revise, then you will not recollect something from your knowledge in the examination hall because you have already decided that this can be changed. So you easily identify it because it was already mentally prepared, saying that this is anticipated before. So you don't need to recollect something because in UPSC, whenever they are framing the question, they don't frame their own sentence. They check the same statements of something else and add it here. So both statement feels like you have read it somewhere because they have not created the statement. They have just, for example, if you have seen the question on polity, right? They have given one of the question for speaker. They have told that speaker need not be a member of the house, but he should get elected within the 6 months of his election. 1 hour after being appointed as a speaker, he should get elected to House of Lok Sabha within 6 months. This was the statement given. This was true for ministers, right? So you would have read something like this, 6 months, within 6 months they should get elected. But they have given it for speaker. Speaker has to be a member because the statement itself in the, constitution, it says that speaker need to be elected amongst the member. Amongst the member means he should be a member in the first place. It is like appointing a class leader who is not a part of class, right? So speaker is basically a class leader of that Lok Sabha. So he has to be first member to dictate a term on the members who are already part of it. So what I'm saying is these kind of minister ka they have changed. So that means that whatever that you have read somewhere, that is only coming here. But you get confused because you have read the same statements. You have read it somewhere. Now you are not able to correct about the speaker at that instant, that pressure time. You may feel that it is correct. I have read it somewhere, you will put it correct. So all I'm saying is if you are reading itself, what question can come on speaker election? If yourself has analyzed before, then you are anticipating that change. Amongst the member, he will say that he need not to be a member. This can be one thing. Like that, you are already assuming that this can be a question and you will be in a better position. So all these things, when we are discussing, we will discuss with the question. So I will have prelims discussion with respect to your prelims test paper. And in that discussion, I will not have all 100 questions which are factual is there. Again, I will not tell because that would have been explained in synopsis. Wherever your thought process has to be evolved, how you could have eliminated, and what are the concepts, some concept is involved. If I feel that that concept has not been understood by the student properly, those things I will explain you, made it simple so that you can think that way, okay? In that way, and I will be available, so you can, message me, 3 hours I will be available here. So you can message me and come and meet with your papers also. So we can see how you are doing and other things, all right? So all the best, okay? So we'll be keep meeting. Thank you.
So I think most of the things are already been spoken by all the eminent speakers here, right, before me. So there is nothing much left for me to speak and motivate you. I will tell 2 to 3 experience what I had with this civil services, because of which I am standing in front of you. In my journey of 6 attempts, 5 mains I wrote, 2 interviews I gave. I'm standing in front of you because of the interview score, right? Where I got 138 and one time 173, right? If that has been just 20 marks more, I would have been in the list, right? To be very honest. Now, the question is, which is a factor which will decide your success, right? It is none other than the mains examination, trust me. If today also, now, right now, if you give me any question on GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you ask me, so these are the 7.2 minutes and these are 9.5 minutes, you write the answer. Abhi bhi main likh sakta hu, because most of you know me from IBC and OGP, right? So, what is it? It is not about the knowledge, it is not about the intuition, it is all about the hard work, right? What I essentially mean is very simple. If your ability, the skill and the expertise to generate the point in basically 7 or 9 minutes, done. Kaam ho gaya, right? Getting the point? So, in this context, I'd like to quote an example here. Only one failure I got in 2013. Uske baad kabhi nahi hua. I was very much inspired one of the movie called as Coach Carter. I hope most of you might have seen about it. It's a real life story of something called as Ken Carter. So he was he's right now educationist, and he was a coach of a basketball coach, right, in Richmond School in California. So he was able to make a great basketball team out of very, very simple guys. Why? Because he believes in 3 things. He says that basically, if any particular student, if he is disciplined, accountable, then you can produce great miracles out of him, right? I'm not motivating, I'm just trying to tell you the same thing. And if he's doing hard work, disciplined, and if he's ready to basically be more flexible, we can produce n number of results, right? So what I want from you in the score batch is very simple thing, right? So मुझे क्या चाहिए आपको? In any paper that you are going to give, trust me, try to write all the test. Don't give mere excuse, sir, बीमार था, ये हो गया, right? No one is going to ask you anything, right? Because let us try to understand the honest, brutal reality of the UPSC. UPSC whole process is in a gray area. The result is in black and white. What I mean by this is very simple. Right now, I'm standing in front of you. कितना mains दिया, कितना interview दिया, कुछ फर्क पड़ा क्या? No. I'm right now here. Result, if your name is in PDF, that's it. If not, you are a failure for me. Because this is how the society looks. You can make a big good things after this. You can be a good educator after this. But if you are here to succeed. ये छोटा मोटा झूठ का बात नहीं आता मुझे. Basically नहीं यार तूने कोशिश की वगैरह कुछ नहीं यहाँ पे direct result चाहिए, right? This is honest, brutal reality. Remember this. If you are writing, for example, there are many students who I know in the past also from the core and the very successful students, right? Sir, मेरा means prelims का बोलता शुरू में. Prelims I knew everything, sir, but गलती से ऊपर नीचे हुआ. Result क्या? Final disqualification. बात खत्म. चल एक साल next. Am I right or wrong? Let us be very honest, right? ये basically more sugar coating, buttering. This is all useless things. I'm more just like a. Trust me, if you have been trained, disciplined in more like a military way, एक attempt भी काफी है आपके लिए. But problem ये है, we don't want to be disciplined. Reason is very simple. We want to give excuse. Why excuse? Because you have thousands of reasons. Correct? This is what is the fact. If you are in PDF, you are successful. If you are not successful. This is the fact. Then after 2 to 3 years, your mindset is going to manage yourself. हाँ यार, ठीक है मैं जिंदगी में कुछ और कर रहा हूँ. But why you came here? You came only here for getting into services and to serve the people, right? So if you want, you have to be disciplined, extremely hardworking. Don't give any single excuse. अगर आपने ये किया for merely 110 days, starting from September 22nd today, your last paper is on the 25th of February, right? 22nd of September to 25th of February, merely 110 days. The question is of only 110 days for your rest of the life. If you are able to achieve this, काम हो गया आपका. Done, understood, right? Second, when people tell me about their disqualification, I'm not saying failure, disqualification in the means, they will come, sir मेरे ऐसे बहुत अच्छा किया है. One. Second, मेरा नंबर अच्छा आया ऑप्शनल में, लेकिन मेरा जीएस में थोड़ा कम आया सर. What is the result? Let us be very honest. हुआ या नहीं हुआ ये बोल. Logical, am I right? Our parents may feel good because they are our parents, right? They will always be more empathetic. But UPSC is very, very brutal examination. Okay? अभी मेंस भी हो गया, आप गए इंटरव्यू को, इंटरव्यू दे के आए, बहुत खुश हो गया, राइट? 2,800 students are giving, 1,000 students are getting selected, right? What about that remaining 1,800 students? Are they not intelligent? They are also equally intelligent. लेकिन they are not in the PDF. फिर से जीरो से शुरू. This is a fact, brutal fact of this examination. So UPSC का process पूरा ग्रे एरिया में, होगा नहीं होगा, क्या सही चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा है, राइट? Sometimes you may get very good marks in the ethics or essay, GS में कम आया तो ओवरऑल कम आया ना, ये हो गया. Now I will tell you fourth honest reality. Okay, यहाँ तक हो गया पूरा. Now, if you are belonging to any category, let us consider GM. For example, let us take a category of GM, right? If you are getting something called as 100 and let us consider or 250 rank, फिर से attempt देना पड़ेगा. क्यों? Because you may not get IAS, you may not get police service also. तो फिर से आ जाओ next year. फिर से एक और एक attempt. मतलब यहाँ पे निर्वाण is only one to get in first 75 to 80. अगर हो गया तो ही selection है true. मेरे हिसाब से. Correct? Let me be very honest, because before me, whatever the people have spoken, they have told you what they are going to do, वगैरह वगैरह, and they have told all their experience which are correct. But मेरा experience एक ही है. List में अगर हो तो ठीक है, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं है. So to get into that, you are having 110 days. Be disciplined, right? Be motivated, and ये motivation, discipline, YouTube वगैरह से हटा दो. अंदर से आना चाहिए. Correct? अंदर से आग चाहिए. Daily. Here I know many students, for example, sir was speaking about him. I have seen him for sitting for at least hour, 1 hour daily when sir will come. हाँ, एक ऐसे दिखाने के लिए. वो discipline चाहिए, वो आग चाहिए. मुझे बस वो input चाहिए. Sir का मुझे 5 minutes चाहिए, विनय sir का. This is what he thinks. For example, if you need any help about any GS paper, trust me, come to me. I will help you to develop the skill. I will not make you literate. I know you are literate. I will make you educated about how to generate the points. For example, if you are having lot of content in GS paper 1 about society, polity भी आपके पास content है, social justice भी आपके पास content है, governance भी content है, then you are having ethics. All these subjects are one and the same. कुछ distinction नहीं है. The syllabus itself is interlinked. Understanding? If you are having that skill, then you can generate the points. For example, this year if you have seen the paper, GS paper 1, geography, there were total 9 questions, right? The total weightage was 95 marks. Geography में out of 9 questions, 3 questions are from environment and climate change asked in GS paper 1. There is no boundary. We have set a boundary. For example, the way ideally one should prepare is as follows, along with the core. Geography should be prepared with environment, disaster, agri. ये चार एक साथ ही है. They are correlated to each other. ऐसा कुछ same. Polity, social justice, governance, society, ethics, एक ही है. Getting the point, what I'm trying to say. Who has stopped you to basically not inculcate the points of social justice in society? किसने रोका आपको? I knew one person officially on the camera. I'm telling. There is a guy called as Raghavendra Chambolkar who was with me. I gave 2 interviews. He gave 3 interviews. In all the 3 interviews, he is selected. In all the 3 lists, on all the 3 lists, 2015, 2016, and 2018. मेरा interview था 15, 16 में, right? 3 times he was able to convert successfully with geography as optional, despite geography was not doing well at that time. मेरा भी geography था. Now question is why? Very simple. What he used to say to me is that we're together for almost about 12 years during preparation now also. So he is like, every stage needs a skill. Mains ka skill is very simple. One fact, one figure. For example, let us take an example of something called as Global Hunger Index or FAO ka report. Where are you going to use this? Ye soch. If you are having 10 facts, now don't mug up every fact for everything. One fact, 4 जगह पे कैसे use कर सकता है ये सोच. If you are able to do it, in actual UPSC exam हो गया तेरा काम. Getting the point, I have seen many core का students in the earlier batches. For every syllabus topic, subtopic, they will take out. इसके लिए हर एक एक डेटा, रिपोर्ट, फैक्ट, फिगर सब कुछ निकालेगा. मगअप कब करोगे? Let us consider you are mugged up. बात खत्म. But how are you going to bring that in that 7 minutes is a question. अगर वो आ गया, for that what you need is skill. That is why I am saying mains is a skill based examination for an educated आपका so called as aspirant. First, I know that most of you sitting here have already prepared thoroughly the syllabus. I hope you should have prepared. You should have your own notes. बस उसको अभी ऐसा नहीं करना गधे की तरह 1 line पढ़ना है. Take a Hawkeye view. इसमें क्या आ सकता है, क्या नहीं आ सकता, brainstorming. Then the most important point which I felt was missed by the earlier speaker was PYQs. If you are not having the complete hold on the PYQs, tip of the tongue पे चाहिए सब कुछ. If not, क्या पढ़ रहे हो मुझे ही नहीं पता. Getting the point? For example, today's newspaper is there. If you just give me a newspaper, I will tell इसमें ये काम है, PYQ में ये आया था, 2015 में ये आया था, 2022 में ये आया था, 2020 में ये question है. Depend upon that, ये question आ सकता है. If you are knowing this, or for example, this article, I can use it for making one example. This is what I'm going to add to my notes. बात खत्म. So, what is important and what is not important, and what should be done and what should not be done, depends only on one thing, that is none other than PYQs. If you are not having grip of the PYQs, I don't feel that your preparation will be not in a right direction. PYQs should be tip of the tongue. For example, abhi aapka art and culture hai. Art and culture ka, for example, there are every year 2 questions, right? In mains examination. First, 20 into 13, right? From 2013, the syllabus has changed. From 2013 to 25, 26 questions are there, right? 26 questions ko divide karo. Indus Valley ka kaun sa? Indus Valley ke total 4 questions hai. 4 question mein kaun sa hai? Ye pata hona chahiye, correct? ये पूरा रट्टा अगर हो गया, पाला आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स था, मुझे पॉइंट्स जनरेट कैसे करना था मुझे पता होना चाहिए, करेक्ट, रिसेंटली. सो अगर आपको 26 क्वेश्चंस पता है आर्ट एंड कल्चर का, देन ओनली यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग इट इन राइट वे. किसका? ओरिजिनल यूपीएससी का, टेस्ट सीरीज का नहीं, विजन इनसाइट स्वाजीराम का नहीं, ओरिजिनल यूपीएससी. दैट विल हेल्प यू टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू जनरेट द पॉइंट्स. उसके बाद आपको पता चलेगा प्रिपेयर कैसे करना है. एंड वंस यू सी दोज ऑल क्वेश्चंस, देन इमीडिएटली बात क्या होगा, यू विल मेक द structure in your mind, and depending on that you are going to generate the points. Same, for example, society का अगले बार society का question, effect of the liberation and globalization on the different sections of the society, correct? ले लो, 3 ही sections होता है, women, old age, correct? इनके ऊपर question हो जाए तो एक structure बना दो, दिमाग में डाल दो. For example, if you are writing an answer upon impact of the globalization on the different sections of society में women के ऊपर लिख रहे हो, who has stopped you to not add the DPSP in that? Who has stopped you not to add policy from social justice here? कुछ भी ऐड कर सकते, there is no boundary. So what I'm saying, GS, I was the one who was scoring very well, and the same was the story of that Raghavendra. He was knowing that there is no boundary, I can bring the points from the different papers to here, because the answer is very simple. Trust me about this, I will tell you on my own experience. Person who is evaluating your history paper will not evaluate your geography paper. यहाँ पे हो सकता है mentor और faculty like me can evaluate history भी evaluate कर रहा हूँ, geography कर रहा हूँ. UPSC धौलपुर हाउस में ऐसा नहीं होगा, ये मेरी गारंटी है. आप ही लॉजिकली सोचो, यू आर गोइंग इनटू सो एस्टीम्ड सर्विस, द पर्सन हु इज इवैल्यूएटिंग आर्ट एंड कल्चर विल ही इवैल्यूएट बेसिकली सो कॉल्ड एज साइंस एंड टेक और समथिंग. सबके लिए अलग अलग होगा ना. सो जस्ट सी कौन से नंबर पे कौन सा क्वेश्चन है, मेक दैट एक्सपर्टीज, राइट. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई फील, गेटिंग द पॉइंट. सो इफ यू आर नोइंग व्हाट इज द, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, नेवर एवर इन माई लाइफ आई इनिशियली प्रिपेयर्ड इन फर्स्ट वन अटेम्प्ट, सोसाइटी प्रिपेयर नहीं किया था, कंसिडरिंग हाँ आता है आराम से, करेक्ट. Greatest mistake. Why? Society 80 marks का आता है, 75 marks का. We keep on preparing world history, ancient history, पूरा detail रट्टा मार लेते हैं. 75 marks we don't prepare. Geography we don't prepare, right? It's very simple. उसके बाद in GS paper 3 I always tell start ulta. GS1 and GS3 always write ulta paper. What I mean? Start with geography, move on to society, उसके बाद history. I will tell you logic, rationality, why. Correct? उसमें भी geography का 50 marks first you write and 10 markers you write first. So 15 and 10. For example, same goes for आपका so called as GS3. I will tell you the question numbers फटाफट, right? In last 8 years, if you just see, question number 1, 2 and 11, 12 of GS paper 3 are economy. उठा के देखो. Question number 3, 4 and 13, 14 are agri. Question number 9, 10 and question number 19, 20 are internal security. एक idea बना लो दिमाग में. Now imagine if you are solving paper from 1 to 20, you can have your own strength. This was my way of approaching. मेरा दिमाग में ये था, for example, if I am writing something about economy, if they are asking me very very specific, something very specific, and मुझे content ही पता नहीं, then in that 7 minutes की जगह पे I will end up in investing time of almost 11 to 12 minutes, because I have to generate that. And because of this, what will happen? I will come to something called as agriculture. Question number 4. Already I have invested 3 to 4 minutes. उसके बाद में agriculture पे आया. Agriculture, if they are asking what is allelopathy, what are specific characteristics, और लिखो इसके बारे में. आपको याद ही नहीं आ रहा. So momentum पूरा चला गया. So उससे अच्छा क्या है कि when you are doing moving from economy, agri, हाँ यार science and tech, environment, उसका कितना switches करना पड़ रहा है mind में. So what I used to do, एक साथ ही put one I will just club it and depending on that I will write it. So that mind goes in momentum, because I knew that कि geography जो check कर रहा है वो history थोड़ी check करेगा. So geography also there are specific question numbers, correct? For example, if I am not wrong, 7, 8, 9 and 16, 17, 18 ये question numbers है. ये 6 question उठा लो, पहले फटक से लिख दो. What I am saying is that this will come up only from the PYQs and with the experience, so that your mind remains in a momentum. Because if you're initially only if you're getting hiccup, I will tell you from my experience, in 2014 या 15 में question या 13 में question था, why that all the battles are fought in the Panipat, right? अभी आपको पता है, आप because आपने पढ़ा है, एग्जाम की सोचो, शुरू में ही हिकअप हो गया, यू कैन जनरेट कितना पॉइंट्स, 2 to 3, 4 पॉइंट्स, 5 पॉइंट्स, उसके ऊपर जनरेट कर सकते हो क्या? नहीं. चलो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आता हूं. पाला, अबाउट आर्किटेक्चर अबाउट पाला, कितना पॉइंट जनरेट करेगा? 2 या 3. मतलब इनिशियली ओनली हिकअप, बट बाद में इफ यू जस्ट सी फ्रॉम 11 to 20 देयर आर n number of questions which can be very very easy. But what happens initially only, if that basically momentum is lost, then and the time is invested more in those 10 marker questions, it becomes very difficult to gather that momentum later. So all such things you keep on analyzing on your own self while you're giving the core examination. Got it? And one more point, last point. Many of the people tend to, शुरू में मैं भी खुद को तोहफी समझता था, ऐसा नहीं होता है. This exam will make humble 100%, चाहे कोई भी हो, फ्रॉम IIT और IIM, कोई भी, स्टीफन्स, लेडी श्रीराम कॉलेज, कोई भी, बहुत सारे देखे मैंने. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज दैट फ्रॉम नाउ ऑन ऑल्सो गिव ड्यू इंपॉर्टेंस टू प्रीलिम्स बेटा. ओके, बड़े बड़े लोग देखे मैंने, पीटी उड़ जाती है उनकी. करेक्ट, बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग देखे मैंने, मतलब the students who have cleared consecutively means, who are right now into service, they are just reappearing for upgrading their ranks, right, into revenue service or police service, who are again upgrading for what? Ranks. Result bhi aaya, selection bhi hua, and when they are going next time for PT, ud gaya. N number of times I have seen this. Why? Because PT is most neglected. Second, PT starts after February, March. हो नहीं सकता मेरे हिसाब से. If you are very very exceptionally well in your MCQs, then it's fine. But if not, please give due some time for PT also. Because PT नहीं clear होगा तो मेंस का क्या करोगे? Am I right or wrong? Because unpredictability, if you consider unpredictability of UPSC in PT, mains and interview, सबसे unpredictable stage कौन सा है? Which is the most unpredictable stage? Interview. कैसे बोलता हूँ? 20 minutes. How will I judge you? How will I judge you? On what basis? On the basis of 5 people are coming, judging me on that basis, right? On what I am speaking. That day could not be your day. You might not be in a momentum. गलत हो सकता है, सही हो सकता है, क्या पता किसको? Correct? Am I right? So 20 moments time is very less. There is no time for basically coping up anything. हो गया काम खत्म वहाँ पे 20 minutes में. Second is only 2 hours per day. That is PT. Mains is the most predictable, where you can manage the things. If your GS1 is not going well, you have GS3. If your GS3 is not going, you are having SA. If your SA is not going well, you are having optional. कुछ तो है आपके पास. Next day is there with you. You have some time. On the next day, you can do some changes. You can make again come back into the game. But PT में कैसे आओगे 2 घंटे के बाद? 9 to 11 हो गया. 11-10 को बात खत्म. टाटा बाय बाय. Right? So unpredictable is more in PT with respect to mains. But PT is more conceptual. So give due time to the prelims examination. Please don't neglect. Make use of the resources that is so called as faculties. Go to all the faculties. Correct? मेरे पास भी आ जाओ, कुछ भी दिक्कत हो जाए, study rate it out. Don't give excuse. Trust me, if you are disciplined and hard working, in 110 days your life may change. But अभी क्या होता है, दीपावली आएगा, दसरा आएगा, बेटा आजा घर पे. करेक्ट? बिल्कुल नहीं जाना है, बिल्कुल नहीं जाना है. ट्रस्ट मी, 3 साल नहीं गया था मैं, 3 years. नहीं जाना है मतलब नहीं जाना, इधर बैठ के पढ़ना है. इफ यू वांट, वन डे यू कैन टेक अ ब्रेक, यू कैन गो टू अ मॉल, कम बैक. करेक्ट? थोड़ा सा अच्छा खाना खा लो, बात खत्म. एल्स डेली यू हैव टू ईट द सेम फूड फॉर 110 days. ट्रस्ट मी, बी वेरी हार्ड ऑन यू. नो वन विल से दिस, आई एम सेइंग टू यू. 110 days, बिकॉज ये 110 days में 168 पेपर्स अगर आपने दिया तो बचेगा क्या? आप मुझे बोलो. इसमें PYQ भी आएगा. करेक्ट? इसमें you are going to do lot of mistakes, you are going to improvise, everything is going to come. So if this is done and dusted, that's it. Next Deepavali you enjoy with your family, right, after giving mains. That's it. एक ही this 110 days you make use of the core, because you are in core. I am saying this. I can't say the same thing to the OGP students. Why? Because right now they are doing their foundation only. I'm assuming most of the things are done, right? So I hope you will be consistently writing, you will be preparing well. Keep on meeting the mentors, the faculties, right? Whatever the doubts, keep learning on your learning through your peer groups. update yourself, right? That's all from my side. Wish you all the very best. If you have anything, you can anytime come and speak. Only thing is that ये better sugar coating नहीं करूँगा because मुझे result चाहिए. Next October you will be in with your family enjoying and you will be knowing that mains मैंने फोड़ दिया है. This is what I want, and I will make sure that out of this 50 students, the people who are consistent, I'll make sure that they will be. I matlab we as a team, we'll make sure that they will be in the list. 100% because ये खेली बस it's a glorified 12th standard examination. कुछ ज़्यादा है नहीं है. पूरा इसको hard work चाहिए. If you're doing hard work, if you're studying, reading, काम खत्म. Understand this. ऐसा कोई rocket science नहीं इसमें. Because मुझे नहीं लगता कि बहुत ज़्यादा intelligent बच्चे पास होते इसमें. The one who is more flexible, one who is more, I would say, learnable, one who is more consistent, one who is preparing as per the right strategy, काम खत्म. I hope this is fine with everyone. I hope you understood what is the core going to be. It is going to be very intense. Please make use of everything, right? I wish you all the very best. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.